So I remember we teased this on Friday, and I thought this is interesting because I kind of didn't see this coming. But if you've not been paying attention, it turns out Canadians are drinking less. In fact, it's the biggest drop in alcohol sales here in this country in 20 years. You can't even blame this on COVID. 20 years, haven't seen numbers this low. So try to find out why. Rod Phillips is professor of history at Carleton University, specializing, believe it or not, in the history of alcohol, which has got to be a lot of fun. Mr. Phillips, thank you so much for your time this afternoon.
My pleasure, Aaron.
As a student of alcohol history, were you surprised to discover this?
I'm not too surprised. This is sort of the fourth year in a row that people have been drinking less in Canada, and also, we know from looking internationally that drinking has gone down in Europe, in the United States, in China, many parts of the world, people are drinking less. So, Canada's part of this bigger trend.
I think maybe when we look at something like this, when you see that consumption of anything has gone down, the first thing you think of is, well, of course, it must be more expensive. People, are having a tougher time. But it turns out, if I read the article right, the price of, alcohol, of liquor has only gone up 1.6%. So what explains this then?
I think one of the things, to start off with is that it's younger people who are drinking less. That is to say, they're drinking more or less, if you know what I mean, than older people, and it's younger people that are driving these numbers. So we have to look at what it is about younger people and alcohol, and I think the evidence is that it's health concerns. I mean, we know that alcohol is not good for you. I mean, people can argue about, how much you should drink, whether it's two servings a week or 2 servings a day or whatever. But we know that, alcohol just isn't good for you. And we've known this for some time. And I think young people are just much more receptive to that kind of messaging than older people, particularly, I think, after COVID. I mean, it's not, COVID didn't start this off, but I think people have become more health conscious since COVID. And younger people are just, who have a short career of drinking or haven't started drinking, are just going to decide not to drink, or they're going to drink less. And it's easier for them, say, than for people like me, who have decades of drinking behavior behind me. It's much more difficult for people of my age to reduce the drinking or to stop drinking entirely.
Is it then to that degree generational? I mean, in the sense that you're saying older people not changing habits as quickly, but we tended to think of that younger generation kind of overdoing it, right? A generation ago anyway. They're the ones who drank us under the table.
Well, I think you're right. See, a generation ago, I think you're right. We've seen this huge change in the last, 5 to 10 years or so in attitudes towards drinking by younger people. So, my students, for example, at Carleton, who are, about 20 years old, are not drinking that much. If I look at, my students 10 years ago, 20 years ago, from what I know and from the stats, they were drinking a lot more. And certainly, when I was a student, we drank a lot. So, there has been this generational change.
Well, what happened to Dr. Oz saying that, he understands it's a social lubricant? Are we looking for social lubricants, Mr. Phillips?
We are looking for social lubricants, but it's not in alcohol. And I think they're looking for social lubricants just in, interactions. One of the things we're seeing is, the decline of alcohol-fueled parties and gatherings. This whole idea that you have to have alcohol there to lubricate social interactions and to have a good time, that's starting to disappear. And now you see in Europe, I'm seeing it in China and in other places, you're seeing early morning parties. So people are going dancing at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And then they're going to work, or then they're going to school, and they're not drinking. If they're drinking anything, I expect
they're drinking coffee. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, and this whole decline of late night activities, which we're seeing everywhere as well, that's going to lead to a decline in alcohol consumption.
By the way, is this across the board? I mean, when we're talking about alcohol, beer, wine, and spirits, or are any of them holding up?
Well, certainly beer has gone down. Wine is going down.
Really?
Spirits may be holding up because people, cocktails are very good. But, the big growth is in non-alcoholic drinks. So de-alcoholized beer, de-alcoholized wine, and then non-alcoholic cocktails. That's where the growth is.
And that would, I imagine, be less expensive as well. If you're not paying for the actual alcohol, right, for the spirits, that would be a less expensive.
Well, that's the funny thing. It's not that much.
It's not?
It's a little less expensive, but not much, because actually you have to make the wine and then you have to take the alcohol out. So it's another step. And the same with the beer. So When I look at the cost of de-alcoholized wine, I'm kind of shocked. I was at first shocked to see that it's costing about the same as the alcoholic wine.
Not that I'm interested, but asking for a friend. For these de-alcoholized wines, are they as good taste-wise, texture-wise, as the real wines from major producers?
I think everyone would say no, they're not, but they're getting better. I mean, I've tasted some recently, and they're not too bad. The ones I tasted maybe 5-10 years ago I thought they were awful, quite frankly. But I think they're getting around to figuring out how to make a de-alcoholized wine, and to replace the texture. It's a lot of its texture, and also a little bit of flavor that the alcohol gives to the wine. So it's improving. Wait a couple of years and try again.
Oh, great. I was going to ask, by the way, if this is a trend, right? If we're looking at this happening and the numbers are as low as they are now, do you see this heading the same direction, and maybe it's not a fair comparison, as cigarette smoking back in the day?
Yeah, I think there's a comparison to make there. I mean, it's always risky to predict the future, but this is the fourth year that alcohol consumption has declined in Canada. And it's not just a 1-year blip, so it looks like a trend. And if younger people today who are not drinking because of health concerns, they're not going to start drinking,
right?
Because there's going to be no medical evidence that alcohol is good for you, I'm sure. And so if they don't start drinking more, and then the generation that comes up after them also adopt the same kind of attitude, then you're going to have a number of age cohorts that are not drinking. Whereas I'm a baby boomer. People of my age who have been, drinking healthily not healthily, but drinking more, drinking well, for decades, we're going to die, and our drinking patterns are going to disappear with us. So, I think we're in for a long-term shift here.
I think you may have left out one part, which is when these younger types eventually become, middle-aged and realize, oh my God, I need a drink. That may change at that point. So maybe that's what we have to look forward to.
Who knows?
I thank you so much for your time. Very much appreciate it.
Aaron, it's a pleasure.
Take good care. Rod Phillips over at Carleton University.
Introducing Bryan Adams Radio on iHeartRadio. Hosted by Bryan Adams himself.
Join me for an insider look on a wild ride through 40 years of global rock and roll.
Bryan Adams Radio. Now available on the free iHeartRadio app. Or ask your smart speaker to play Bryan Adams Radio on iHeartRadio.
Who's ready to rock?
Kids wanna rock.